What is going on, guys? It's your boy Gamers Goon. I am here today to address the elephant in the room. Now, clearly, if you watched Monday Night Raw last night, we heard Sami Zayn be a little interesting. He mentioned AEW. Now, I wanted to come on here and address this. I'll come on here again when it is confirmed and or if it isn't. But why would we mention AEW? There's two reasons why AEW was mentioned on Monday Night Raw. The first reason could very easily be Sami Zayn went into business for himself and he basically told everybody where he wants to end up. I want to be in AEW. That's a great possibility. I would be biding my time to get out. People were coming at me and they're like, it's not about the wrestling anymore. It's worldwide wrestling entertainment. Wrestling comes first. And I want to ask everybody a question. Isn't wrestling entertaining? I know if you put Ricochet and Cesaro with the match they had in front of me, I'm going to be entertained. That was a good spot on Monday Night Raw. The rest of Raw was horrible. People were saying the Brock segment was entertaining. He looked like a fool. I've never seen Brock show any personality, and then he shows personality now. Why? Why would Brock Lesnar, out of all people, be dancing around in the ring? Then you want to say, well, the Usos block party was cool. No, it wasn't. How was that any bit of entertaining? We have two teams that are supposed to be feuding each other. Just goofing off, throwing horseshoes. And then we have R-Truth, the 24/7 title. Running around hiding from everybody. Everybody says that's an entertaining thing. How's that entertaining? I don't see it. It's a joke. It really is. AEW on Saturday night, they put forth an entertaining show. Believe it or not, you can have an entertaining show with wrestling. I know there was only 57 minutes of it on Monday on a 3-hour show, but the 4.5 hours that AEW gave us was actually entertaining. Believe it or not. I know, it's a shocker, right? So, did Sami Zayn go out for business for himself? Possibly. I know Sami Zayn. I know that he loves the business. I know that Sami Zayn could put on a great match. So, there's a good possibility Sami Zayn did it for himself. Maybe Sami Zayn went out for himself. Who knows? But the real thing I want to say is I'm going to assume this is in the plans for Vince. Now, it might not be. As I said, Sami Zayn could easily went off the script and mentioned AEW, and if he did, I'm not going to be surprised if they add more time onto his contract just to make him even more unhappy at where he is. But the most likely scenario is somehow, in some way, Vince thought this would boost ratings if he mentions AEW. Vince does realize that they call it a niche fan base, but really it's not. Professional wrestling is not a niche anymore. I'm sorry. Moxley coming over to AEW made it mainstream. It's now deemed as a legit source, a legit alternative. And with anything they did on Saturday, you could tell that they want to put wrestling at the front. Somehow, Vince McMahon, probably in his demented mind, thought, you know what? You know what's going to boost ratings? We're going to mention AEW. How's this going to boost ratings? I don't know. The people that watch AEW watch the WWE. They just criticize it because right now it's on one of its worst states. And then everybody else that didn't watch AEW and is not open to watching AEW is defending WWE like they're not in the wrong. I mean, oh, you don't love Roman Reigns? You have Andrade Cien Almas. Now just Andrade. They can put on a 5-star match against anybody on the roster, and you're giving me Roman Reigns versus Elias. Yeah. I guarantee you Andrade could put a 5-star match on against both of them. But that's what they opt to give us. Somehow Vince McMahon, when reading the script, this is probably actually how it went down. They're like, Vince, today's Memorial Day. Probably not going to get a lot of views. We don't even get them in the regular days, so probably going to even have an even worse decrease. We might even reach below 1 million. Vince was probably like, you know what's going to get them. You know what's going to get them. It's going to be the third hour, and I want third hour draw, so let's mention AEW. I'm brilliant. Yes, I am. Vince, you're an idiot. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I support AEW. I'm wearing a villain hat. He's not in AEW yet, but Marty Scurll's going to end up there. Same thing with Punk when he does end up getting out of his UFC announcing deal or whatever he's in with the UFC. But Vince, you gave them mainstream publicity. They didn't even say your name on Saturday. They didn't say WWE. They made an indirect reference to what Cody Rhodes did. They didn't even say it. Sure, you could say Cody Rhodes took a shot at whatever the Triple H character is. Great. He wanted to make a point that he is going to be the king of professional wrestling. He wants AEW to take over the world. Great. But the way Vince McMahon reacts to this is just completely bizarre. He gave us the worst show I've ever seen. That Monday Night Raw, you could have literally watched 2 segments and been perfectly fine. All you needed to do is watch the Bray Wyatt segment and the Ricochet match. That's all you needed to do. And if you want to watch the electric chair just to get the pop out of the AEW thing, that's great too. But nothing on that show is worth noting. I'm not going to give you a review of that show. The review of that show is awful. There was nothing on that show noteworthy. In the first hour, we had 3 minutes of wrestling. 3 minutes of wrestling on a wrestling program in a whole hour. Believe that. NXT can fit 4 matches in that time. AEW can fit maybe 2 or 3 matches with maybe big implications in that time. Now, I'm not comparing AEW to NXT in any standpoint. They are both very good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you NXT is better. I'm not going to sit here and tell you AEW is better because I enjoy both, and I appreciate both. But whatever's going on in the main roster is completely atrocious. I don't know what is going on. But I guarantee you that if it comes out that this man was legitimately scripted, I know people are saying, like, oh, it probably was scripted. If there's a legit confirmation that this was scripted, this man is a complete delusional idiot. I saw this graph on Twitter. It was sitting around 25 to 50 for AEW throughout the whole show, throughout the whole Monday Night Raw. It was kind of right here, and then as soon as Sami Zayn mentioned it, that thing skyrocketed right to 100. That thing went from 25 to 100 real quick, Vince, real quick, and it stayed around the 75, 80 mark for the rest of the Monday Night Raw. And I don't blame any one of you guys who went and looked it up. You should go watch it. It's something better than whatever we just saw last night. But, Vince, if this is really how you want to address your competition, by just mentioning them, I want to let you know, AEW right now isn't mainstream. They aren't mainstream yet. I know I'm an AEW guy, but they don't have as many fans as the WWE, let's be honest. You're not going to get fans from mentioning AEW. AEW is going to get fans from you mentioning them, though. They're going to get a lot of fans. They're going to get a lot of fans. They didn't even have to do a thing. You mentioned them by name 2 days after their debut. Thank you, Vince. Thank you. If I'm Cody Rhodes, I have a big old smile on my face. Because that tells you Vince has somehow acknowledged what happened on Saturday. And he's either afraid or he doesn't take it seriously. But this man forgets the platform he has. He has around 2 million people watching him a week. And if you expose AEW to those guys, maybe they're gonna look over and be like, what's going on over with Cody and the Young Bucks, huh? And they just might lose. Well, they're not going to lose fans, but they might have some of their fans go over and support AEW as well. And I would be honestly shocked if it came out that it was a Sami Zayn thing. I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, but it'd be interesting if WWE, if this was a WWE initiative. The main reason I say that is because this is the same company that doesn't even allow people to be in the arena with a Bullet Club shirt. If you were in a Young Bucks shirt, get out. Flip it inside out. My bad. Do something else. You're not wearing that. Go buy a shirt at the T-shirt. No. If you support another wrestling company at WWE, they're right on you. So it's kind of hard to believe that Vince would go for that. But there's probably somewhere in his demented mind where he thought, you know what, this might boost ratings. This might be something completely bizarre that we need. I mean, it was bizarre. But I guarantee it ain't going to bring nobody to WWE. It's going to bring people to AEW, but it ain't going to bring nobody to WWE. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to address the elephant in the room here this morning, right after whatever we saw happen last night. That was horrible. I'm sorry. If you guys enjoyed that, God bless you. I don't know how you enjoyed that. The whole first hour, I was almost crying. It was so bad. I really wanted to cry. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. We had a whole 30 minutes where the Brock Lesnar teasing a cash-in. Then we had Dolph Ziggler come out and beat up Xavier Woods and Kofi for 15 minutes. And then finally we get a match in between a jobber and Shane McMahon. And the jobber was a cousin of Roman Reigns, and he got saved by Roman Reigns. That was the first hour of Monday Night Raw for you. I don't think it go over anything. I just wanted to tell you guys what happened in the first hour to show you how bad it really was. That was horrible. Whatever happened on Monday Night Raw was completely a joke. And I hate to break this to Vince. If he thinks AEW is a joke, then he's got another thing coming for him. AEW is not a joke. It should be taken serious. It is a legitimate alternative, Vince. Moxley just broke the world. Whatever Moxley did just broke the world. People were talking about him facing Juice Robinson at New Japan. It's not because the name value Dean Ambrose or John Moxley holds. It's because people want to see him. They know you handcuffed him. They know you handcuffed him. Thank you for giving him this platform. Thank you for giving AEW this platform. See you guys next time.